This is our accessible game controller. A little bit about our client, Sam. He has cerebral palsy and has very limited use of his hands. He loves RPGs, he plays with mouse and keyboard, and his main point of dexterity for games is his right index finger. A couple of his desires with his custom controller were that it could be automated, macros for example, customizable, so that he can program things quickly and on the fly, and he was worried about precision. Pressing the wrong buttons, it can be detrimental in intense games. So immediately we got to work making some drawings. We started off with wanting fewer buttons, with more macros, and we actually were planning on using a joystick that he could use his wrist to control the player movement. But after talking with him, we realized that he was more comfortable using buttons for movement. So we decided to lean further into that direction. We made a few prototypes with the buttons. The biggest thing that we worked on was button layout, so that everything was easily accessible and he could hit the right button quickly in the middle of gameplay. We finally landed on something like this, with the movement buttons directly in the center, a jump and attack button on either side, two physical programmable macros up top, and two special attack buttons on the sides. And those switches are repeated pressing for the special attack buttons. We made this controller with Arduino. It was just a lot of buttons and switches and a lot of back-end code for the macros. So here I'm displaying the controller's capabilities. You can see jump, attack, movement can all be done just with the press of a button, as well as special attacks with an animation and repeated special attacks with the switch. The part that he was most worried about was being able to press multiple buttons at the same time due to his limited use of his hands. So we implemented these physically programmable macros, which allow you to choose two different buttons that you can repeatedly press, so that it's easier to maneuver around the environment and still attack things. Now, unfortunately, our client lives in Twin Falls, so we weren't able to test this with him personally, but here's an example of me using the controller in a way that he would be able to. In addition to our spline-based camera system, our game also has an automatic targeting system, enemy AI, checkpoints that automatically respawn the player if they die, random enemy spawners, health collectibles, and health bars. We also have several custom-made 3D models and animations imported from Mixamo. Overall, the game turned out pretty well, given the limited amount of time we had, and the fact that we were all brand new to Unreal.